Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Burchalations podcast. We are your host, the Burch Bros here. And we thank y'all once again for tuning in for, I think this is...
episode 40.
Yeah, he was ready for this one.
Yeah.
Ready to say that one.
Yes, sir. I made sure.
40 mark, man. 40 mark.
40 of them things.
Yeah, man. Listen, man. I remember when we first started, and we appreciate you guys sticking with us so far, man. It's been a crazy journey. I've learned a lot. I'm sure you've learned as well, for speaking with different people or whatnot.
Man, learning is an understatement.
But what would you describe it?
Like, I don't know, man. I think we've done more acknowledging than as well as learning.
Well, people give me, I get feedback from others, even outside the podcast.
Oh yeah,
from,
me too.
People that are more so on the opposite end when it comes to certain topics and stuff. So at the end of every conversation, I end up walking away with both of us coming to a common ground understanding, which is why I have conversations with people in the first place, which is the goal of it all. Because obviously we're not gonna see eye to eye and things like that, but I think we can agree on a lot more things than we disagree on.
Well,
Things,
yeah, of course. And one thing as well about how we're disputing with these people outside of the podcast. Usually, they all have a common theme of how they want to express their points. They're not really expressing it with many facts. They're doing it with more so of a feeling.
Well, you have to notice that whenever you can out-compete someone in maybe a debate, so to speak, factual and logically, they have no choice but to resort to emotions and feelings and stuff like that. That's why, you hear women more generally calling guys names and stuff like that because they know that logically and factually speaking, they cannot compete in the argument.
Yeah,
most of the time, at least.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, they're making themselves look worse because they're attacking the argument, not really. They're attacking the person, not really the argument.
Yeah, but yeah, man. But anyways, guys, listen. If you want to see some clips on this kind of stuff, man, go to TikTok, and attention spans are a little fried nowadays. So we're gonna take care of y'all, man. But speaking of which, let's get to our guest, man. This guy's a returning guest, man. This is his. This would be his first solo. You've been on
first solo. It's third time.
Yeah, first solo, third appearance, man. So I believe it's gonna be a good one. We got a lot of things to discuss, man. But Preston, man, welcome back, dog. How you been?
Been all right. Appreciate y'all letting me come back.
Hey,
of course, man. Of course.
You know what I'm saying? You're a good friend to us, man, and the numbers are up, man, which obviously means that, hey, man, you bring something. You bring something, man.
Both of ours up. Y'all's mine.
Still one on top, man. Still one on top 5.
Oh, yeah.
Top 5,
yeah. I think it's top 3 still.
Top 3?
Yeah, I think it's top 3.
Sweet, man. Shout out to Jordan, too, man. Shout out to Jordan, man.
Shout out to Jordan.
Yeah. But now, let's see you. Let's get to the first topics and stuff like that. Now, who wants to? Anybody want to go first or anything?
You want me to go first?
I was just asking, man. Unless you got something, go for it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So say that. Okay. So I'm about to give you a hypothetical situation, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So say that you tell your homies about your girl, right? What is the one phrase that you do not want to hear from your homies? Y'all want me to go first?
What do you mean, like when you're around girls and stuff?
No.
Like the first thing that you don't want to hear come out of their mouth.
Yeah, like when you're telling them about your girl. Here, I'll tell you mine. As long as you're happy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense because immediately you're even in that sentence.
They're viewed in a negative way as soon as you say that.
Yeah, and your mind starts thinking, I'm already, man. It's just like what happened? Now now you want to know. Now you're stressing.
Yeah. Unless you already knew what you got yourself into, then that wouldn't really. Yeah. It wouldn't really be stressing you out if you already knew from the start.
Not saying that the person can change or anything like that, but obviously the reputation is there for a reason. Due to the past choices that she made, and stuff. So
1,000%.
Obviously, you're gonna think some kind of way, just like a job interview or anything like that.
Completely true.
I feel like reputations are sometimes looked at too hard, though. Like, I understand, like, there's bad track records, but people can change.
Well, of course. There's always a possibility.
Make a difference in themselves.
Man,
of course, it's always a possibility.
Yeah, there's always a possibility someone with like a 300 credit score can make every car payment on time.
Now, is that probable? Is the real question.
Bro, like, is there a high chance that it could happen? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like a little bit like if a person had 20 jobs in a 3-year span. I mean, is it possible that they're going to stay for a while? Yes.
The first inconvenience, he just leaves.
The
bathroom's dirty. I can't do it no more, man. I can't do it.
I'm here by myself. Oh yeah, I can't do it, bro.
Man,
man. What's the pettiest reason why you quit a job?
Let's see. The pettiest reason that I quit a job was
you don't even. Dang, that's.
I think. My bad.
I'm tired.
I think maybe I probably got into an altercation or something like that. It's never been nothing small or anything like that. There's always I don't know, something like that. Or probably bad pay, or like you probably been there for a while, but there's no like advancing going on. So
there's got to be advancement in any job.
It's kind of like a dead end or whatnot.
Like in high school, that's fine to not having a job that you'll advance up and up and up and keep growing and keep making more money.
That's cool. Yeah,
it was COVID.
After like within a year that I graduated, I moved to Lebanon and was like trying to find a job that I could progress up and make more money.
I know. Whenever I was younger, I got there was this one time where I got dust in my eyes. I was like, yeah, I quit, bro.
You start getting itching on your that little cardboard itch on your body and stuff.
Yeah, I was just like,
like right here on your on the inside of your legs.
Yeah, even though the next place I went to, I was literally doing the exact same thing but inside. So it's kind of hilarious.
Terrible.
Yeah,
but
paid more. So
yeah, but how much? I mean, that always comes at a cost.
Well, yeah, of course, but
obviously, but I know a lot of guys are willing to take that.
Oh yeah, of course.
Even if it's for just a temporary time period. But
yeah.
Now we're gonna get down to the nitty gritty now, right?
He said nitty gritty.
Now we, as guys, I think we can all. I think I speak for all of us here in this room that we've been in a relationship that we probably just look back on as like I had no part of being in that relationship in the first place.
Yep.
Can we all agree that?
Yep.
You look back, it's like, why did I do that, right?
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I think that the love of many people in this culture nowadays is just growing colder and colder by the day, simply because of just the wild craziness that's rising up and the lack of morals and all that craziness. So it's kind of like people are resulting into going along with that wildness just so that they can be on the winning side of things.
Yeah.
Right.
I wouldn't say question yourself why you do it, because if you're doing that or whatever and you walk away from it and you're like, why would I do that? Why did I stick around for so long? You're too focused on why you did it instead of what you can take away from it. Like, you need to be able to take something away from that and, like, improve yourself. Like, hey, you've seen this. You know what it looks like. Don't do that again. Mm-hmm. It's basically looking out for red flags or warnings or whatever. Like, hey, this happened last time. Don't do it again.
Well,
there's a lot of people who just avoid them, who just
there's not a single
who are like in denial about them.
Yeah, it makes sense.
There's not a single experience I have that I regret.
That's true.
And everybody says that they regret something, and yeah, you can, but
but at one point you wanted to do it,
and what happens to you is what builds you up as a person.
Yeah.
So
I will say this though. It's hard for me to regret something that I've done because I know like at one point I wanted to do it, so it's like it's hard to regret.
We've all had a choice.
Yeah, of course.
In every decision that we
make.
Of
course. And like you said, like when we go through like it like helps build this up. I do agree with that 1000%.
Yeah.
And I think that's like one of the reasons why we're like us men and women, like we're held to like that kind of like standard of where like if we go through our lives like guys, that we are able to be better men. Because I will say this, like most men like who don't really go through a lot, they don't really turn out well, in my opinion.
More independent.
Yeah, well, I think that. I think like this. I think like the bravest people, they're like the people who've been through like the most stuff, like police officers, firefighters, like the ones who really like been through some shit. Like they are like more likely to like stay calm like during like a situation.
They're definitely tough. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think that anyone who goes through a lot of stuff would become a product of that.
Well, the reason I ask is that there are certain things that lead you up to those choices that are, I mean, obviously you don't regret anything that like y'all have done, but obviously, you know, what the reason I ask that question is that there are people out here that are choosing to get with these kind of people, these kind of girls and these kind of guys.
Yep.
And they've made that mistake too many times to now, like, it shouldn't take that many times to be like, okay, this ain't it. I'm going to go over here. I need to try something else. You can't be doing that.
Like they lost their self-care. It's like they don't have self-care for themselves.
Like
they know better,
like,
but they do it regardless.
It's more like a self-love thing as well.
Yeah.
Like they
don't
lost
love themselves enough to not do it.
Yeah, they lost their sense of self-worth.
And just like you said, I mean, like it's one thing to not know what you're doing, but it's another thing to know the good, but choosing to do evil.
But it's also for like the other party, so they need to know what they want and what they want to do before anything ever starts.
Oh yeah,
because down the road it's just gonna blow everything up.
Well, of course, and as well as that, as well what you said, I think the other side, they should understand if someone doesn't understand like what they want yet and not entertain them.
Yeah.
As well, because they're shooting themselves in the foot as well. So obviously we can blame the person who doesn't know what they want all day, but there's always that one person who will still entertain them.
You can definitely tell the difference in people. Like,
yeah, of course.
You can look at me or look at you and tell, and within a 5-minute conversation, on whether that guy knows what he wants to do with his life or not.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 1,000%.
And you can look at a girl now and definitely say she's got her things in order. She knows what she's wanting to do, and she knows what she's wanting to look for, and that's what she's going to pursue. And if you're not that, you're going to know it because she's not going to pursue you if she's that.
I'm sure
sexually
that
built.
I'm sure that affects.
If she's like that and knows what she wants to do, and has enough self-respect for herself, she's not going to disrespect you.
Yeah. I'm sure it also affects the way that you go about the girl as well, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
A girl that, you know, I mean, I think the way a girl acts, you know, it definitely changes the way a guy approaches things, unless he's just a complete, you know, just full of himself and don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
like a girl that's like a really feminine girl that is really strong on morals and things like that isn't going to tolerate someone that's just, you know, hopping from girl to girl. That guy that's hopping from girl to girl is going to approach that girl differently. He's going to act
way differently.
He's going to act correct.
Way differently.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Different.
So, what? Also, I mean, what else goes from the other side as well? As a guy, if you are a man that's standing on morals and stuff, and you know, also having your things together, girls are going to come at you in a certain way as well. At least I hope so. Right?
They can definitely tell who's in order.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Who's in order and who's not.
1,000%. We know this because
it's the way that you carry yourself. That
I think as well. I think as well. I think like the ladies like our age or around our age, I think they put like those guys who are like well in order to the side because I think that they think that they'll still be around later on. And usually most of the time, it's not what's going to happen. He'll be already settled down and possibly married by the time that they're ready for them. Yeah, and then
That's when it
they've
gets-
already hit the
that's when it
wall.
gets
That's when it
scary.
gets,
That's when it gets scary,
that's when it
man.
gets dark out here, man.
It's scary. That's when you start hitting crunch time buzzer beater shots, man.
Yeah, man.
From
Yeah,
half court, man.
yeah, and that brings me to a topic that I
With
want.
Shaquille O'Neal animation, you can't make much with that, man. You're in trouble.
Can't cook with that.
Better hope you got game flyers on, my
Man,
friend.
you're gonna be hitting the loudest bricks in freaking the history of basketball.
And I mean, biology is real.
Yeah.
I mean, biology is real for a woman and a man, but this implies more so to women. Like, this isn't me talking, any kind of crap. This is a real thing. Like, girls have a biological clock. There's a certain time to where you that you should have healthy kids and all that stuff. And the older that you get, it's going to be it's going to be harder.
Yes, well, true.
Yeah.
I always said that time is kind of us men, while nature is kind of women most of the time.
Yeah. That makes sense. And that's why, I mean, when I talk to certain girls and talk about like, hey, like what kind of kids you want and all that stuff, because me, personally, at the end of the day, I mean, there's a lot of things that go on in this world, but there's very, ain't nothing that compares to having that family.
Yeah,
that you come home to.
1000%,
You know what I'm
1000%.
saying? Your career can change. I mean, there are plenty of great guys that spend their majority of their lives building something out of career and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they can leave it, and there will be someone right there replacing them.
Well, of course.
Which tells you a lot.
Well, of course. And you said this a while ago. Nick Saban's the greatest college coach of all time. And he got replaced in 48 hours.
In business, there's always a replacement.
Yeah.
Never special.
But I guarantee you,
Never.
at home, Nick Saban is irreplaceable to them kids, to that family.
Well, for sure.
I mean, that's where you're.
There's legends, but legends can always be replaced with somebody new.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I wanted to bring up this next topic that I wanted to talk about. I've been wanting to talk about this for a couple of weeks now. Okay, so you remember a while ago when I was talking about marketplace value, right?
I think so. But I mean, obviously, it's a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think people, they got confused about it a lot whenever I was talking about it, because I think they were assuming that I was talking about value as a human being, which those two, they don't really stack up, because it's not really up to me to measure someone's value as a human being, even though that I think probably women, they probably have more value in that department than we do, because they can carry the next generation and we can't. Even though that they can't conceive without a man, but they still have the most important job in the human race, which is choosing the right men to have children with.
It's balance.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Well,
I
of
don't
course.
think one's more important than the other.
Well, of course.
I think everybody's equal, and our jobs are equally as important as theirs.
That's
Because if they weren't, things wouldn't have worked out the way they are.
Well, I think
Things wouldn't work the way they should.
Well, I think
if both parts weren't.
Yeah. I mean, well, I think obviously in the eyes of God, this is we are equally valuable.
Yeah, of course.
But when it comes from a societal standpoint, obviously this will favor the women.
Yeah.
Because females are the protected sex, while men tend to be more disposable.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So when you see guys going out to wars and things like that, I mean, we tend to fight for things that we value and protect and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why I say the downfall of America is coming. It's coming fast too, because girls they're choosing not to have kids. They're choosing not to have families. I mean, obviously, you can see you can see a shift in the way that women think now versus maybe 30, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
To where, like, they were thinking, like, okay, like, I want to have kids. It was still kind of more traditional, whereas now it's like, oh, I don't need a man. I hear all the time, I'm happy being single. Girls hanging around with their single girls, hanging around with single girls.
They say that at the moment, but they know.
But they're also
to
young,
a certain point in time, that'll change.
Yeah, of course.
Biology, man, it'll do its job real quick.
Yeah,
I promise you, man.
Yeah, I don't think that no woman really wants to be alone. I mean, they're just coping at that point if they say that they want to. I mean, that's just
There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of coping going on.
Well, of course, I mean, yeah, but that's their fault at the same time, though, because they didn't make the correct choices to not put themselves in that situation. That's why. That's why I say. That's why I would say, like they are like think about like an 18-year-old lady, like an 18 to 24-year-old lady. What they're usually mostly beautiful most of the time, because and what are we as guys? Like, what's the first thing that we notice about a girl? Like, let's be real, okay? Like, what's the first thing that we notice?
Her looks.
Her looks, exactly. So, I always say that a girl's looks, like, it gets her through the door, but really understanding the guy is what's going to keep the guy around. Like, it's going to...
The connection y'all have is what's going to keep them around.
Of course. And displaying, like, some ability that sets you apart from the other girls, yeah, that will keep him around.
We always like difference.
Well, yeah, of course, and I think we as guys, like, we know, like, very early on if we want to be with that girl or not.
Yeah,
I think it's very.
I
think we know it, like, very early. Like,
me personally, within a week to 2 weeks, I could tell you whether or not.
Oh, for sure, 1,000%.
Maybe within the first week, depending on how much we actually communicate to each other.
Yeah, it really takes us, like, really, really quickly, and we don't try to disqualify them. No, we try to, like, keep them around. Like, and
I think
they try to. Well, yeah. But to be fair, though, everyone doesn't get that fair shot.
I think there are certain checkpoints in a relationship to where you start to start thinking differently about the girl when it comes to the level, right? So from 0 to 6 months, this is just me. I don't know about you guys, but from 0 to 6 months, I take that as getting to know the girl, right? Yeah. And then from 6 to 12 months, I started thinking more of the idea of marriage, right? And all that stuff. That's just me.
It's a little more complicated than that. You gotta.
I mean, I don't think it takes 3 years for your girl to meet. Right?
I think you do need to get that level of connection with them and understand each other and see how y'all fit each other.
Yeah.
If there's that emotional connection there and y'all get along, but you also need to see how they react to situations and see how they handle situations.
That's true.
That's true.
You need to know if they're strong enough to stay if something happens.
Yep.
Yeah, you need to be mentally there too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's very rare nowadays.
It is very rare.
That is very rare, man. And a lot of guys are. I mean, I commend anyone that takes that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I could.
But I know you can't, man. But I think at the end of the day, most guys want to feel like the hero in that story, man. They want to feel like Prince Charming slaying the dragon, saving from the castle, man. But obviously, most guys don't feel that way. And then on the other end, most girls don't feel like they are getting carried out of the castle nowadays. And I mean, I think it's on all of us to, kind of bring back that spirit of relationships, because obviously it just, for the most part, it's not there anymore.
Yeah, but
and you got to search in really small circles to really see it happening.
Yeah, but it's like this though. I believe that most men, they respect most women, but most women, they don't respect most men anymore nowadays. And we know that.
I can see that.
Yeah. We know that.
I can see that.
Yeah, we know that because
self-consciously, we definitely self-consciously you'll respect a girl.
Yeah, because most men out here, they're not getting chosen. All right, and I think in 2024, unfortunately, I mean, but this is just the way it is. I think that the guys who are not really respecting the women nowadays, like, they really are the ones getting rewarded for it.
And that's bad.
Yeah,
I mean that's terrible. You know what I mean?
It is terrible because I've always been one to respect, still am. And what?
Yeah, keep going.
What are you laughing for?
No, I was just thinking something in my head, man. My bad.
Okay,
it's
yeah,
not you.
okay.
I swear it's not you.
Okay. Stupid. Okay.
I promise you, man.
Okay, but as I was saying though, like me, for example, I know that I'm a pretty respectful guy to most women, right? And I know, like, growing up, that didn't really exactly benefit me. It didn't really get me nowhere. I wasn't really respected like that. I mean, yeah, I mean, yeah, but they weren't by talking to me, but I wasn't really respected like that compared to the other people I was around who weren't really as respectful as I was. And I saw that. I was like, why are these people getting more of her treatment than I am? I'm over here being nothing but respectful, like I was.
Well, I look back.
Like I was taught.
I look back on those times because this definitely happened to me. I don't know about you guys, but I'll treat a girl good, and obviously, not much would happen. And then you'll see her get treated a different way. And you see the things that you want to happen to you that happen to them, right?
Yep.
Now, for the most case, this is what most of these guys are going through, and then they tend to kind of flip the switch after that, right? Mm-hmm. To me, I think being a man in that sense is like you walk out here and you have every reason like not to be the kind of like a good man, right? Mm-hmm. But you choose to do it anyway.
Yes.
That to me, that's what being a man. That's what being a good man, a godly man. If that, more importantly, is. And I think that most guys, they go through those kind of things and kind of get caught up into that kind of culture in a sense, and then they end up trying to be the bad guy. When in reality, all along, is like, hey, you want to care for a girl, and you want to give her flowers and all that stuff. And I just think in reality, a lot of people are in the wrong places looking for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, I will say this as well. There's only a small amount of guys who look at it as a competition. They're the ones who are getting the results that they want, because let's keep it real, everything in life's a competition. And if you don't look at it that way, then you are going to lose. So they want to put themselves in the best position to win that competition. That way that they can be the man that they want to.
What's the competition though?
What do you mean? I'm talking about life in general is a competition. So I'm saying
I know, but like of what though?
What?
I know it's of life, but like where are you getting to?
Well, in this conversation that we're talking about, the competition is acquiring the girl.
The girl. Okay.
I think guys have just grown kind of impatient for it.
Yeah, exactly.
They lose their tolerance, because once that happens,
that's the word. Yeah,
it's like
I think we're as guys
chase so hard and keep on chasing something and become impatient with it.
Yeah, exactly.
They just like lose their train of thought on what they're trying to do.
That's why. That's why I asked you that question. It messes
things up.
Yeah,
and that's why I asked you that question. Like, yeah, like obviously, like we obviously want to be the best people that we can be. Live a comfortable life and things like that. But when you said competition and things like that, it's almost as if like we're in this, like we're like really like fighting tooth and nail to get this certain kind of girl and kind of caliber of girl. Where in reality, like what you just said, I think us as guys, we are taking this way too seriously as it is, especially in our stage.
Think of what people have always said: patience. If you're patient, good things come to the people that wait.
Yeah.
And I believe that. I believe that if you're patient and you just keep your head down, work, do your, live through life, how you're living, and proceed. Yeah.
Of course.
I think it's going to come in a way it's not going to be expected. It never is. Yeah. Nobody you ever meet or run into is not expected.
Yeah, of course. And true. One of the things that I meant by it being competition is like it being to be like the best man possible. That's one thing that I meant as well. I'm not even just talking about like towards others. I mean like towards like yourself as well.
All right. Because in that case, in that case that'll be subjective then.
If they see good values in a guy, I don't understand why they think it's a game to, like, oh, I'm gonna look at him, but I'm also gonna look at him. Like, I understand we're exploring your options. But to me, you shouldn't explore your options if you're talking to somebody or trying to go forward on into something with somebody.
Yeah.
Well, if you do that, it's just going to complicate things, and it's not going to work.
Well, it's like you said,
if you want something fully dedicated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Well, it's like you said as well. He said earlier that they were the survivor. What's it called?
So women are the protected race.
Yeah.
Or gender. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're the protected gender. I think one of the characteristics by that is they're always looking out for something better. As fucked up as that sounds, a lot of them are always looking out for something better. This is why we have this word called hypergamy. I think I think all, if not most, women, they're hypergamous. Like, they always look for something equal or better. I mean, it's very hard for a woman to date or marry down from her.
But what's better for them that they're looking for?
They don't even know.
What are they looking for that's better? Because
they don't even know.
Being in love with somebody is the best thing that you could ever have. And marrying that person and spending the rest of your life with somebody that's going to make you happy for the rest of your life, what better are you going to get than that?
Sadly, man, it's not
it doesn't
good.
Matter
Sadly, it's not good enough for them.
It don't matter how much money you got. It don't matter your case of living, whatever. There's nothing else to that.
I could be in the low class, but
you could be in the lowest class possible.
But
as long as you got each other and y'all are happy, there's nothing better than that.
Right. Well, yeah. Of course. But even after all that, man, there's still some women out here who think that's not enough.
Well, even at that point, I don't even think us as guys that have good sense will even pursue those kind of women anymore.
No, God, no.
So we shouldn't have to worry about that. But I think what you were talking about, like how like girls kind of explore their options, even as guys to a certain that have a certain kind of caliber to them, right? Mm-hmm. I think all that was a result of hookup culture, right? That's just my opinion, because I think I can go back to like the beginning of time, like Adam and Eve and all that stuff. The whole thing that always goes like down to it. I just learned about this at church, but it all had to go back to like feelings. Mm-hmm. Feelings, so to speak, more so of us kind of defining our own way of good and evil instead of kind of walking into the footprint that God already made in the first place. Mm-hmm. Instead of walking in His footprints, we decided to go left instead of keeping straight. You know what I mean?
We're not. Nobody's perfect.
Well, yeah, of course, but I think there are qualities that should resemble and should reflect the characteristics that God has given us, and I think girls and guys are looking at the wrong things.
Yeah, right?
Because the last thing that I don't know about y'all, the last thing I want to do is marry a pretty face. And the reason I say that is because like you don't want.
You already talked about that. Yeah. You don't want to talk about. I mean, you don't want to marry someone who's hot. You want to marry someone who's beautiful.
Yeah, of course.
That's right.
Yeah,
I listen.
Yeah, because it was facts, boy.
No, I just listen to you. I just listen to you. Period.
But most guys are like really falling in love because she got a BBL, or a big booty. Now you know what I mean.
Sorry.
That was disgusting.
Sorry.
But
sorry, I'm gonna stir up in my mouth a bit.
Yeah, but let's see. I could take it back to Babylonians and stuff like that. I had mentioned that on the other podcast with the two girls, but with the Babylonians and stuff like that. This is what one of the big reasons that caused the big old flood to happen was because guys were building statues of themselves, worshiping themselves, being more so of themselves instead of the person that had created them. And this has resulted in oppression of women, so to speak, just be honest. I'm talking about grave. I'm talking about guys getting girls, marrying them as if it was some kind of game. Like there's like marking off tally marks. That's what was going on. Yeah. And we're seeing something similar like that happening with some of these guys out here to where they want more than one girl at once, where they want maybe quote unquote spin plates and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's really happening out here. I think all of it is just, I think hookup culture, feminism, and all this stuff is just a result of us prioritizing our own feelings.
I do have a question for you about hookup culture, though.
Yeah, what's up?
How many of us dudes do you think are actually really participating in it?
Participating in it, or just like trying to?
Participating.
Successfully?
Yeah, because not a lot of dudes out here, they're not.
Successfully, very low.
Not, exactly.
Very low.
Exactly. Not a lot of us dudes are getting chosen out here.
Actively out here is a lot.
Yeah, but.
Actively is a lot. But I don't even think you want to be chosen in this environment anymore.
But that's not the point. That's not the point I'm trying to make, though.
Take it from someone that's been in it.
But that's not the point I'm trying to make right now. The point I'm trying to make is like, not the ones who are active.
Well, so I mean, what's the goal of hookup culture? Let's just be honest here. What's the goal of it?
Well, sex, obviously, but here's my point that I'm trying to make, though. Right. Like, how many of us dudes are really like in it?
It's low.
Well, yeah, that's my.
But I think that's a good thing.
Well, yeah, I know. That's why.
That doesn't make sense to me, though.
That's the thing that I'm trying to acknowledge.
Out of it?
That's the thing that I'm trying to
get out of it.
It's called dopamine.
Are they trying to figure out another way to like get connected with that person.
Well, it's this thing that we,
Well,
all as human beings, we chase. It's called dopamine.
Well, despite positive feelings, right? Like, I don't know. I mean, temptation is a very big thing around hookup culture, especially if you're trying to kind of like want to reserve yourself in a sense. Because I mean, these feelings come up. Temptation will never go away for anybody until the day we die. Like it's always going to be there. Yeah. You might, you're at a club, you see a hot chick, she feeling you. You got a choice. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you got a choice.
But it's
to make,
the way
right?
that you approach it and deal with it. Is what makes you a better person or a worse person.
Yeah, like I said, there's a choice you got to make in that moment, right? Are you going to go up in there, or are you going to walk away and stuff like that? And despite like the positive feelings that come with it, the 3 seconds of dopamine that comes with it, there's a lot of physical and mental injuries that come with that.
Yeah.
Guys, are
I see a lot of people fucked up after.
Oh yeah. Girls especially.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Psychologically speaking,
yeah, for
it
sure.
don't take that many times out of premarital sex for them to be psychologically just injured,
obliterated.
Yeah,
obliterated. And I'll never obliterated is a big word, but I'll never understand it of like why that is. But obviously, it ain't good for anybody.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And from a physical standpoint, from us. You get STDs.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say you could just catch.
There's the reason why this is it's one of the biggest sins out here. I mean,
of course,
sexual immorality. God tells us to flee from it.
Yeah, of course. And I think,
for other sins, like adultery and all that stuff. These are things that could be easily resisted. But when it comes to sexual immorality, that's the only sin that you can commit against your own body, and he tells us to flee from it. This is a different kind of sin that we're talking about. This is something like serious on a whole nother level. And this had David, Solomon, some of the greatest men to ever live fall to the lust of women, for the love of women, of just constant, that positive feeling and stuff like that. It's in the Bible, man. But,
and the reason why like a lot of guys like they fall for the lust of women is like they don't remember like their purpose.
Mm-hmm. Lack of purpose, lack of meaning.
Yeah,
life, yeah,
and me, like I've been like invested, just like trying to do like what I've been needing to do. So it's kind of been like hard for me to just like fall for any of the like any of like the okadoke,
I think you definitely gotta stay busy.
It's kind of hard.
They need to go into it knowing what they want with it.
Well, yeah, of course.
Not just.
Oh yeah, of course. I have a very flaky question for y'all. Y'all might relate to this. You might not. Okay, so have you guys ever like been like broke before? And
of course, we all been.
No, listen.
We're boys.
Have you ever been broke and you just been like angrier like after you've been broke?
Well, I've never been like I never had that.
Or is that
anger.
just me?
I never had anger of just of like being broke.
Maybe
a little depressed, but I've never been mad.
I don't know about you, man, but my whole demeanor, exactly. I either get like depressed or like really, really. No. I take that back. I either feel depressed or I either just like get like really, really like mad at like anything. If I'm like ever at like a moment where I'm like broke, because it's like we as men, man, we looked at as providers and stuff, man. And if you feel like you can't provide, man, you feel like a damn failure.
Yeah,
at that point,
that's
man.
One of the things for guys, I think they need to start setting more too. Is like, this is where you need to be. Stick with it and stay with it.
I also think
that's a standard for myself. I have. It's like work, make money, like, and move on. There's no not making money and providing for whoever. Is if you're like me, I have no problem with paying for friends foods at time, or paying for something for them, or helping them out with something. But that's the way I was raised. Brother. I'll give you the shirt off my back if I've got to. I mean, that's the way I was raised up.
Give you a couch to sleep on.
Yeah,
we've done deal. Before. You know what I mean?
I'm always going to help out if I can.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
There's certain things that we can't do that you've got to do for yourself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I always make sure I try to provide for myself as much as as best as possible as I can before I try
Yeah.
to help and provide for someone else.
Yeah, and crap, I forgot what you just said, but it made me think of another question real quick. What do just from like maybe from what y'all have heard in the past, what do girls want in a man? What do women want in a man?
Okay.
Probably more so someone that's like their father.
Okay.
But that can also be
That can also be really
That can also
dangerous
be
as well.
bad
That can also
if
be really
it's
dangerous.
Like the model
somebody
father,
that wasn't a
Yeah.
good father.
like the model father.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I said maybe 2 episodes ago. I always said like a girl, she's always gonna go after a man who is like her father
yeah.
every time.
Yeah. If not,
Every time.
The son's
it'll be a
always going to
strong,
go after somebody that
It's like their mom.
mother.
it'll
Yep.
be a strong impact on that stuff, and it's kind of hard to change that. But the reason I asked that is like basically girls want a traditional man, right?
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with girls wanting what they want, but do you have to ask themselves, are they the kind of girl that traditional man would go to, like would be attracted to? And the answer is, for most of the time, is no.
No,
And I'll
not for
also
nothing long
throw it back.
term.
I'll also throw it back on the guys too.
What in your definition would be a traditional man now? Because you got to think
Nowadays-
times are always changing. There's always things that are different. Like
Oh yeah,
what baseline traditional? What would that be for you?
I always say that change is the only constant thing in this world is change, right? And I think there's so many things that change. There's only one thing that hasn't changed, which is God, basically. So I think you are who you look up to.
Yeah.
And I think if you look up to Christ and you look up to God and you apply those teachings, those things that stuff's timeless. That never goes out of style. So if you can operate like that and make yourself more like Christ, you'll attract a godly woman as well. And you'll see yourself naturally drifting away from those girls that operate outside of that circle. Now, I think living that kind of life is difficult. I think being more so of a Christian obviously is more about sacrifice instead of success. Mm-hmm. There's nothing about where it says that, hey, you're gonna be rich if you pray to God. It don't say that kind of stuff. But if you're willing to sacrifice and do all that stuff, I think everything falls into place.
More so, you're going to be taken care of.
Yeah, and I see it happen way too many times in other people's lives for me to not be a believer in that kind of stuff too. And I think I'm seeing it already in that kind of just the way I look at different things, the way I'm not so anxious about certain things and all that, whether it be looking for a girl or
You don't worry.
I don't really worry that much. And it makes me feel good too. So like when I say, what kind of man that's like more so traditional is someone that stand on those values, even though they're looked down upon nowadays.
Yeah.
If you can stand firm on those and understand about your girl, like, hey, this is how I roll and all that stuff, I hope you roll this way too. If not, it was nice to meet you and all that stuff. You got to keep it going. I think a girl respects a guy that acts that way instead of a guy that compromises his own morals to appease to the girl, which happens a lot nowadays.
He downs himself when really he was right all along doing what he was doing.
I see guys, let's take the bar for example, because that's what I be around
We're out all the time.
Yeah. So I see most of these guys out here that are with girls that I'll look at them in their eyes, I'll have a conversation with them man to man behind closed doors where it's just me and him, and it's just like, you're not really like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like there's a lot of compromising going on, and that's what happens when a believer and someone that shows that he's not non-believer, when them two clash, something's gotta give. Something's gotta give there. Either the unbeliever gonna believe or the believer gonna start compromising because of that feeling that
He wants to make him fit so bad that it's going to down him.
Yeah.
It's like you said.
It's going to degrade him.
Like you said a while ago, man. We look to qualify the woman while they look to qualify us, man. It's like you said, we see that she does this, but we also see that she does that.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, the quality of a man, something that I think girls really, the girl with good sense nowadays, what they want is a guy that stands on those morals, even though that they are looked down upon nowadays, but they still decide to stand true to themselves.
I also think one characteristic is someone a guy who actually wants it for himself as well as his family, like he realizes like he has to work for the things that he wants. Like it's not just going to be given to him. It's not just going to fall out of the sky. And this is why it's so easy for me to keep on going as much as I do go. Heck, even this week I was sick as sick could be, and I still had like no.
Poor man had fever.
I still had freaking no.
When was the last time you had a fever, man?
Man, probably last winter.
Oh man. Oh, so this is probably a seasonal thing.
Yeah, but it was.
This is spring though.
No. But it was like cold, like whenever I had. This is like spring season, so this is different.
Oh wow.
But yeah, I think. But yeah, even with this week, I still had like no like consideration to like not continue to like do like what I planned on doing that week, and that was just me like fulfilling like a purpose that I had, man, because I believe that I have a purpose on taking care of myself while trying to make sure like my surroundings like they're good as well. Because
you condition yourself to do that as well. I mean, you've been doing that for a while, so
yeah,
you're building discipline, and it's going to be really hard to kind of switch course. Even if you do like maybe take an off day or whatnot, to you it's going to feel a little bit off because you're so used to.
Plus, I fear, man.
Used to a system.
Plus, I fear, and plus, I fear like what could happen, like if I don't like fulfill that purpose, like
just for you or just like for your family.
Both.
But yeah.
Both, because I know because hey man, it's like I said it's like I said a couple episodes ago, man. I don't really have backup like that. Hell, I am the backup.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gotta be nowadays, man.
Yeah, man. We need the backup, man. People, man, they depend on you to get stuff done.
Yeah, not saying you gotta be a Elon Musk, or the network of Jeff Bezos of billionaires, but I think the least that we could do is make sure that they have a roof over their head and something.
Make sure they're taken care of.
Taken care of at least, man.
As long as my people,
I don't think financially speaking, it's too.
As long as my people are taken care of and I'm taken care of and I'm good where I'm at, I don't care about being.
I think that's real. I think it's realistic too. I think people have very unrealistic standards on where they want to be in life, and I think that's just due to social media, of course. I mean, this phone right here, man.
Well, a lot of them aren't willing to put in the work either. You have to think about that as well.
It's not easy, and the ones that can chase it and
that's why
get it done.
That's why it's so unrealistic for a lot of people because they're not willing to put in the work.
I'm talking about like 1% lifestyle.
Well,
people.
Well, of course, but I'm talking about
I'm like real unrealistic.
I'm talking about why it might be unrealistic most of the time. Why generally is very unrealistic.
Not have a thing growing up.
Completely true.
Yeah.
Have everything when they grow up because they know where they was and they never want to be in that position again. They don't want their children or
that's where I'm
family
at
down the road to be in that position.
Mm-hmm. That's where I'm at.
And I think we also need to know like what does it like? What is the top percentile of like what does it mean to be in the top percent? Like you need to know where you're at as well, self-awareness and all that good stuff. Because already, I mean, despite all the things going on in America and all that stuff, if you live in America currently in today's world, you're actually among the top 30%. Because, I mean, this is still the richest country already. And to top it off right there, if you own a house or a car or something like that, you're among the top 15.
Really?
So, yeah. So, I mean, this ain't hard but it's getting harder nowadays.
But you got to realize too, people aren't building many houses. But what are you seeing? Cities and everything put up, apartments, rental places, like they're putting these buildings up, and people are giving money to this place that they're never going to get back.
So whenever right behind us being built.
But then if you would not lived here and spent thousands and thousands of dollars a month or however long you lived there and had kept that money, you could already have a house. It's weird how they're wanting a higher percentage, but they keep like building more stuff and getting away from it. So it's like
What's your opinion on that? Like the current economy in America nowadays?
I don't know, man.
It do be some shit.
I know
I'm not big on politics.
I know the election is coming up in like
I've never
the
been
fall.
big.
But
I've never big on politics. I mean,
Okay, yeah.
it's
Do
just
be
not
some
my ordeal,
shit.
really. I mean, I live my day-to-day life and go on like everybody else.
as I get
Yeah.
older,
I understand. Yeah, there's probably a better option than the other, and I do have my view on it.
Yeah.
And I'll probably take out my view whenever time comes. But I mean, as long as things are going well,
Yeah, you're chilling. You don't really
I'm happy where I'm at.
Yeah.
anyone outside the circle. You can really kind of like,
Like,
Yeah, and it's like what you said earlier, or what we were talking about earlier. When it comes to that person you love and you're with and you're happy,
yeah,
nothing else outside of that matters.
yeah, that's true. Once like something starts happening and it starts to affect that circle with your circle, it's like okay, what's going on here?
Yeah,
Like okay, yeah, that makes sense. It's kind
that,
of like
that's outside world stuff that doesn't really matter because you're going to run into that to every day. Nothing's ever going to go your way on a day-to-day basis. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. That's just the world we live in.
like a war outside your country. You look at it as like
You're not in control of that.
Like
you're
man,
not in control
like,
of
yeah.
that.
Like
That
man,
ain't-
that's crazy.
If it ain't you,
But if something happened here
If
in
something
America
happened here,
or
yeah,
something like
then
that,
it'd
it's
be
like
different,
okay, like
but-
yeah.
you know, like
That's why I got mad.
if
about
you
this.
sit here and nitpick and watch and worry and do this and that about every little thing that goes on, you're going to worry yourself to death and never live your life.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Nobody, like, you're going to be so, like,
worry will literally kill you.
yes, literally.
It literally will kill you financially, whatever you're going through. You worry like that, man.
Yeah, that's
Life will definitely cut you.
And it's not worth worrying about. You can't control it. The only thing you can control is what
yourself.
you do on a day basis for you and your people or whatever you got going on.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's
And
nothing that can change that.
oh, yeah, for sure. And it's very easy for me to
And a lot of people get lost in that.
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, they get lost and stuff.
Get
and
lost
they
in the
just-
sauce, man.
They just fuck themselves up, man. But it's very hard for me to fuck myself up because it's like I know, like with every decision that I make nowadays, I know that it could lead towards something better. Like it no matter, like no matter like what I try to do, I know like it could lead to like something better. Like if I get this part right, I know like something can just like drastically change. Something can like skyrocket.
You could work as much as you possibly could, make the most money as you possibly could, and in a day have another depression and it be worth nothing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Nothing.
But
And then what do you have after that if you're not with that someone you love or your family or whatever position you're in? What do you got?
I know plenty of guys that make good money, enough for them to do what they want to do and to get paid for it, but they don't have no one to go home to, man. It's like
That's why
that's scary,
That's why
bro.
everybody says
That's scary, man.
really money has no value.
Because then it's like
Money for literally has no value. It does in a, I guess, material type sense.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to you personally and what you're doing with your life and how you feel, has nothing to do with it at all.
I think whenever, if you don't, it always results in the same question. Like, if you can list out everything that you wanted, materialistically speaking, if you never achieve those any day in your life, it's like, then what, right? But even if you did, then what, right? Because then, even then, at that point, there's always a nicer car.
Materialistic
There's always
things
a
are nothing.
bigger house. They're making new cars as we speak every year. The 2015 Toyota Corolla. It's like, what?
Materialistic things are nothing.
yeah, and
That has no true value.
I wanted to go back on what you said about like being depressed. I don't know if it's just me personally, but I choose to not believe in depression as a whole. Now, I believe in the feeling of being depressed, but I don't believe in depression. And let me explain why. Because we can all agree that when you decide to believe in something, you're given the power, right?
Yeah.
All right, but and the last time I checked, I thought depression was the enemy. So why would you give power to the enemy?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. That's a good. I mean, that's a good question to ask.
All right, and do you know what I would do if I was depressed?
What would you do, man?
The same exact thing that I would do if I was happy.
Yeah, I mean,
Because having it big is because I will say this: like feeling depressed isn't an excuse to
not do something.
to fulfill your duties as a human being. Like it,
Just because
like
you're
it's
not
not an
feeling
excuse.
great that day doesn't mean you shouldn't stop bettering yourself by going to work. And because if you go to work and you do these things, it's going to get your mind off of it.
Yeah, and it's gonna make you feel a whole lot
Being
better
around
because of the
people-
fact that you went.
Yeah, you may think like the stress of work or whatever may make it worse, but like doing something is better than doing nothing and just laying there.
And one of the things that people don't realize is that no one is coming to save you. I mean, you just got.
No, you're on your own.
Yeah, man, you got to get up and put a buckle your chin strap, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's just another reason not to really kind of let your feelings lead you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, God says that don't follow your heart because your heart will deceive you. Because at the end of the day, I mean, like, for the most part, our heart lies in a lot of worldly desires. Because, I mean, we have a sinful nature as, human beings. And when we have these emotions, whether it be good or bad, that just comes up. I mean, they inevitably speaking, I mean, we worry, you have fears of some sort.
Yeah, of course.
But, I think that's what just makes us human. But you really can't get rid of those, but you could definitely have something to go to fight against those things.
Yeah, completely
That's
true.
probably one of the biggest things line dancing did for me was it's my 2 to 3 minutes whenever I'm doing my thing of just like forgetting everything.
It's like your escape.
Yeah. How long you been line dancing?
I think this year on my birthday will have been 3 years. I think it would have been 3 years.
Okay. And how old are you? You're like, what,
20.
I'm fixing to turn 21 here soon.
Okay.
Yep, we
Man.
turn 21, and then we have to hit up a place called This Bar.
This bar?
We do.
Yes, we
I
do.
saw that. We do.
Oh, the
we
new
do.
Morgan Wallen thing. Are y'all
That and then
y'all gonna be hopping up on there, huh?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, but
that-
we
it's
already
supposed
talked
to be
about
opening
it.
Oh, y'all have already. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
It's supposed to be opening in the summer.
in August, or not in August, but sometime during the summer. My birthday's in August, so hopefully it'll be done right after my birthday or something.
Oh snap!
That and then
It's over with.
see who else? Eric Church has a bar coming downtown now. It's the Chief or
Oh,
something.
really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know you had a bar coming.
Yeah, he named
There's
it
a
after,
lot of
he
bars
named it
down
after one of his
there.
albums.
There's a lot of bars downtown, man.
I mean, it's a freaking money glitch.
A big one.
It's
A
growing
real
like
big
crazy.
Opening a
Nashville's
bar in
crazy.
Nashville was a money
Nashville's been
glitch.
growing like crazy, and it's
I
been
know,
growing.
man.
All
It's
these
just gonna keep
Californians,
going.
all these Californians, man, coming up in here, man. The
And
course
it's
is growing.
weird because, like, my line of work, I go to different people's houses, right, every day. I see different people. I see people that have moved here from all different states. And every time somebody moves here from the state they lived in, they say they absolutely love it.
America is very fast. It's very fast. I don't know how, like, the life that we live is kind of more really fast lifestyle. And it's kind of like, it's always like hustle, hustle, hustle. Because,
Yeah.
I mean,
I was going to say, too, I was thinking about something the other day. What do y'all think about the
he's just singing a song.
what do y'all think of, like, school systems, like doing 12 years of school?
That's a good question.
Like,
That's a really
do
good
you
question,
think
actually.
that it,
Alright.
because I've got my view on it, and to me personally, I think it's a view of like they're building workers instead of building
Well, yeah, of course.
kids
yeah.
to follow their dreams and go do what they want and prosper in that way. And they're more just building workers and people to go out in the workforce and things like that than anything.
Well, school is built to teach you how to become a better employee, basically, for the most part.
Yeah, and that's not to take away from like people that go for certain things. Got to believe we do need highly educated people in our society.
Yeah, and I believe
But,
like there's like some jobs
In a
to where you
government
do need
way,
to go to
in a
school.
government way, yes, but
But there's a lot of people majoring in a whole lot of bull crap that can
Yeah.
easily be done if you just post a few reels on social media. Like you'll probably get a job at that.
Man, for real.
But when it comes to 12 years of school, from like pre-K to your senior year of high school, I will say this, right? I think at the start of high school, that's when you need to start being a little bit more creative with classes, because already, I think from pre-K to 8th grade, this is my opinion, there's no need for any more of the more remedial English and math classes. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't need to know y equals ms plus b. We already learned this down in middle school, and we're over here learning it in our junior year of high school. Like, okay, like what's really going on here?
Like, how many years you been out of school?
When you gonna teach me like how to like
4.
change my
Did you
tire?
ever figure out what X
Well,
was?
3.
Have you figured out what X was now, being out of school?
Man, nope.
No, exactly.
So you got the slope, you got the y. This are my.
I wish they taught us how to do
the y
taxes.
intercept.
Like,
What is X?
I wish they taught us how to do
exactly.
taxes.
Like,
But here's the thing though, I ain't had to use it. Well, not once.
no,
Not
you
once.
don't.
But
They say that you will, and to the basics of it, yeah, you should know how to be able to read. You should know how to write. You should know how to, add,
but you've already.
subtract,
But it's like you've already
basic
done
stuff
that.
like
But
that.
It's like you've already done
like
that
when
though.
it comes to everything else, what are you going to use?
When I get in high school, I want to learn how to play an instrument. I want to learn how to like change a tire. I want to learn something about how to
now,
do some
musical
like
stuff is
real-
timing.
I want to learn how to.
Time, don't know when time's important.
I
That's
want
a
to learn
really
how to do
important
my
thing.
taxes. I want to learn how to pay a bill. I want to learn
That's
how
why I
to.
think like 4 years of
They
high
need
school.
more life skill stuff that you should know taught more than the added extra BS that they're never going to use.
Yeah.
You want to know something too?
The teachers know that they're never going to use what they're teaching,
And that's the bull crap too.
and that's what pisses kids off the most. And why they don't want to learn it is because they know just as much as they do.
Teachers
Yeah.
know that this
They
is
know
bull.
they're not going to use it because they've been living 30, 40 years longer than we have, and they never used it.
And I'm looking at these teachers. I'm looking at these teachers like, bro, you don't even get paid as much. Why do you care so much about this? You know this don't even work. You're not even like
But
what?
the thing is, I feel like if kids and students and just younger people in general viewed them as like, hey, this is their job, this is what they're getting paid to do, they would look at them in a different respect and be like, hey, especially now working and stuff, and I want people to respect my job and talk to me with respect. Mm-hmm. I feel like it would be in a more respectful way for them to be like, okay, let's do this for her. Let's listen to her because she's getting paid to do this. She doesn't have to do this for us, but she does it anyways.
Yeah,
so
that's
why
true,
not
man.
take what I'm getting from her that we might use, but all that other stuff, I don't understand it. I don't get why.
Yeah, me
I don't
either.
get why they teach it.
Well, yeah, and like when I say things like, hey, like we had we had culinary classes, automotive classes, and all that stuff. These are things that are pretty useful to society, right? Mm-hmm. And I think learning these things at the start of your in high school and stuff is pretty important because now you got 4 years to perfect these certain kinds of things that you want to get into.
Yeah,
and I think trying to put them in extracurricular activities isn't really going to do it because by the end of the school day, I'm already trying to leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean this with the most due respect possible, man. Like, man, what the fuck am I going to do with art?
There's artists.
There's artists. I like art.
Yeah, but they should.
Music's art. We all love music. Everybody in this world likes music.
This is art, Justin. Get it together, man.
Oh my god, y'all know exactly what I meant when I talked about art.
Yeah, we get it.
You talk about like sculptors and painters.
It's
Yeah,
not,
man, like
in
those
that
people are
mindset
usually
that you
talented.
got. It's just not one thing that you're looking at. It's a whole spectrum of
I
different
get
things.
that. I get what you're saying, but
It's a very niche. It's
I get
very
what you're
niche,
saying,
though.
but it's like what I'm saying is like, what am I gonna do with art? Yeah, man, because the art that I'm talking about, that shit wasn't an elective.
I understand.
The art that I'm talking about, that shit was not an elective.
You want to know what we should do? Especially, this will help obesity rate for sure too. And me and Justin
Courage
had
more
this,
fit.
strength and conditioning should be a mandatory class in high school.
Yes, 1,000%.
You think it should be mandatory?
I think it
Yes.
should be mandatory for you to take
Yes.
PE is physical education is no longer enough. We need strength and conditioning classes. Me and Justin were working out every day after
It
that was our
may
last class of the day.
change the amount of people that are lazy in the world and don't want to do things and just want to be given everything. And
Your mood is better when you after a workout for sure.
I know.
I think it's more self-building.
I know. My
Yeah,
freshman
it's
year.
a physical view, but you're also building yourself at the same time because you're improving yourself.
I know my freshman year, I worked out. Or during the first semester of my freshman year, I worked out in the mornings. I worked out from 7:20 to I forgot what time, but that was literally my first block class, working out in the mornings. But then after that, at the rest of my semesters, I worked out with him during our last block of the day, and we literally worked out every single day before football practice. So we was but we were tired, but it's like we just got like so conditioned to that, like really like so freaking quickly. Like we became like accustomed to it.
When you do it every day for like 3 years,
you become like very accustomed to it.
You get in a routine with it.
You get a routine. You build muscle memory.
You know how hard it is for some people to do that just don't do it. Like,
trust me, it gets very easy.
It gets very easy.
It gets very easy. I couldn't lift the bar my first day and working out during bench press.
I'm not a gym person. I'm never going to say I am because I'm not. I've been a couple times, like going through high school and stuff, just stay in shape and stuff. But like, I've never been a gym person personally.
Preston, I promise you, if you had that schedule, man, your whole outlook.
Too, this is one of the first things, like y'all, like what I just recently went through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like everybody was like, start going to the gym, start working out, start doing this and that. I'm like, to me, my self healing is doing what I enjoy most.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best way to get over anything that happens to you is doing what you love most. And I feel like that's what will get you over anything.
Agree. And
yeah, that's true.
Agree.
That's why when people say go to the gym, well, if the gym works for you, go ahead, do it. I mean, if that's what works best for you, I just know that's not my thing. Yeah. It's not my hobby that I enjoy.
Your thing may be working overtime or something. Who knows?
If you like to work, go to work.
Hell yeah.
But the level, one thing that really worked when it came to strength and conditioning, and this is why I advocate it be mandatory for all genders, is that the level of accountability that you need to have, whether you pass or fail a class, or whether you have, coaches watching you, your every move.
I think
and
the
stuff
greatest
accountability was one of the biggest reasons why I stick to lifting weights and all that stuff throughout the years.
I think grading systems BS regardless. I understand
low key, yeah.
That you don't want kids to fail. But if you look at that kid and give them a bad grade and pretty much tell them they're a failure and keep telling them they're a failure, what the hell is that going to add up to?
I ain't gonna lie.
They're just going to go their entire life thinking they're a damn failure from the get-go.
At one point, though, when
you get that 65 on your little homework or on your test,
oh God, you were so bad.
You feel like that.
Then you're going home like, damn, I'm finna take this ass whooping from daddy. Like, fuck.
Like, midterms, baby,
bro. I used to absolutely hate midterms, bro. Like those midweek report cards, bro. Like I remember this one time, bro. I absolutely put the it in shit in one of my midterms.
Like there was nothing worse than getting your report card and seeing like 3 C's, a D, and an F, and being like, "Oh hell, it's
man."
Then I get home.
Yeah, then
you ever hid your report card to be like, "Oh, I forgot."
Can't just teach kids.
Hell yeah.
Or pretty much tell them they're failures. That's not going to make them any better.
You can't tell your kid they're a failure and expect them to go to school the next day trying to try and stuff like that.
Man, like
give them a reason to try.
Up.
Give them hope. Let them know, like, hey, you can improve. Like it's not great, but it's not terrible, and you can improve it.
I want my kid to understand that, like, hey, there are when it comes to the math, the science, and all that stuff that you're inevitably going to be taking during school.
Yeah,
I'm like, hey, man, look, I get it, right? I'm not saying you got to be the best in that class.
I'm going to talk to your kid, too.
Don't be the worst.
I'm going to talk to your kid, too,
I'm never going to be
I give him a range.
mad at my child as long as I know they're putting 100% effort in anything they do.
I'm going to talk to his kid.
Don't go up in that class.
I'll be
just doing all.
As long as you're going in there and you're doing 100% your best effort and are trying to learn it and trying to do it, I have no problem if you're not doing great.
I will say this. I will talk to his... I will talk to Parker's child. I'll be like, hey, man, don't swear, man. Even your father was dumb as hell at one point.
Come over there.
I'll look at him and be like, I was as stupid as you were. Like,
what? I can say
but nah, that's hilarious.
That shit would be funny.
I will say this, my kid is...
I will say this. If he doesn't do his work, then I'll start to get angry because then I'll know he's not trying.
Yeah, because then there's no effort.
Yeah. I'm like, bro, do your work, man.
But if you're doing your work...
That's like half the race in college, man. If you just turn it in,
If you
you
just
good.
do it. if you just do any of it, you'll pass.
That's why I got no problem with our sister. I think she'll actually
Yeah,
be able to
be
pull it
fine.
off. Yeah, she'll pull it off. Me, I couldn't. Do
Oh,
it.
hell no.
But when it comes to like your kids and stuff like that, there are certain kids that are just average to like maybe C to D minus students in all the core classes. But they really strive at maybe playing the violin or something like that, or something like parents. We need to pay attention to like these kind of things in your kids, what they like, because what I liked was making videos, editing, all that stuff.
And what are you doing now?
What I liked was working out.
Life was it. Like I spoke life into my
I like talking
like this. You just like talking.
Yeah, well, I like talking about stuff that was like the truth, and now look at me.
And like when we were younger, you like talking about sports.
Yeah, I like talking about sports. Like
you can tell
like
him
it was nobody's business.
You can ask him anything in the history of basketball or football, he'll know it.
Everybody says that if you get a job at what your hobby is or whatever you enjoy doing, you're going to absolutely thrive in it because you're doing what you like. And everybody's going to thrive in doing what they love.
This may sound crazy to some people, but I'd rather make, $45K doing this than make
if I made $45K doing this, I would
absolutely.
Then make six figures. Then make six figures doing some corporate. Something corporate.
Bro, listen, bro. If I could make $40,000 doing this,
if I made the exact amount of money that I was making from working at Circle K doing this right here, you know how crazy that is?
That'd be absolutely
I
crazy.
don't understand how like
you should be doing this
awesome
every day.
You'll see me. Yeah, I'll be going crazy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Overtime, dog.
If they would start to like putting it through their mind that like, hey, you don't have to work for somebody and you can work for yourself and be 10 times as successful and more successful than anybody that's ever worked under somebody. You know how much drive that would put them above their parents, anybody, to want to do better. Because if you can be more successful working for yourself, why would you not?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you just want to work for yourself at that point.
I mean that it just gives you that sense of freedom. That
Exactly.
that sense of
everybody wants
freedom.
a sense of freedom. That's all everybody wants to chase is a sense of freedom.
Yeah,